Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind, 9 tracks, 45 minutes, the fourth studio album from the UK, 5-piece, released May 1983 by EMI and Capitol, produced by Martin Birch, recorded at Compass Point Studios in Nassau, in the Bahamas. 2 singles were released, Flight of Icarus and The Trooper, taking the album to number 14 in the US, number 3 in the UK, while again charting well across Europe, going 2 times platinum in Canada, platinum in the US and UK, as well as gold in Finland and Germany. This is the first album with Nicko McBrain on drums, who replaces Clive Bird. Go for it.
Okay, so Peace of Mind. Now, when it comes to the classic era of Iron Maiden, this was my favourite for many, many, many years.
I love this album.
That's changed slightly, but it's still within my top 2 or 3, which is probably not saying a hell of a lot because around this era the guys were on fire.
I still think it's overlooked often.
Yeah, it does, because it was released right after a classic album, right before another classic album. So yeah, everyone listens to the bookend albums, and this one kind of gets skipped, which is criminally underrated as far as I'm concerned. As Andrew said, the main change was the introduction of Nicko on this, taken over from Clive Burr. And seriously, what better way to introduce your drummer than to do a kick-ass drum fill on the first opening track of the album? So
he brought something to this band.
Oh, he did. Oh, he's brought. I'd hesitate to say that of the later Maiden albums, he's probably been MVP for me. But we'll get back to this one.
No, okay.
So like I say, this was my favourite for many years, and this is the almost perfect Iron Maiden album for me. But for the inclusion of a couple of songs which I could kind of live without, and they probably had no right to be anywhere near this album. So firstly, the good part, we see the band do a lot more experimentation with their sound. We really see Murray and Smith lock in on this album as well. This is probably their finest playing up to this point for mine. 3 of my all-time favourite Maiden songs are on this album. So Revelations, what an epic song. Excellent, love that one. Where Eagles There, that's probably one of the most epic and powerful openings to any Maiden album, I guess. The variety on offer, just that one track is just ridiculous. And the other one is The Trooper. Of course, everyone knows The Trooper. So just those 3 songs make this worth the price of admission on its own. I gave most of the songs on this album a pretty high score, but like I say, there's only a couple that kind of drag it down a little bit for me. For example, To Tame a Land, for me, that's just overly long and boring, and it was supposed to be named after. It was supposed to be named Dune after that book, whatever.
They didn't. Him and Frank Herbert didn't get along.
Well, the author of the book found out, no, I don't want heavy metal associated with my book at all, and don't do that. And they should have taken his advice. Because that track is shit. And Crest for Fire, I just don't like that song. It's just so cheesy and over the top, and just Bruce, his air raid solo, it just makes it a lot. Look, for me, this goes back to 2 Minutes to Midnight, which people love it. I can't stand that song except for the chorus, and that's kind of the same thing here.
Wrong.
There we go. So look, standout tracks for me are The Trooper, Where Eagles There, Revelations, and also Die For Your Boots. Gets really, really overlooked. Love that song. So look, I was going to give this 9.5 out of 10, but I'm taking 2 points off. One for To Tame a Land, one for Crest for Fire. So 7.5.
Jesus. Okay.
For an album that's in one of your top 2 or 3
and it gets
albums,
a 7.5.
I'm a hard man.
Obviously. Jesus. All right.
Conflicted man too.
Conflicted man.
For me, this is Iron Maiden at its finest. As you said, Nicko coming into the band added so much. I think, and you can really hear it. But he's sort of added a lot threefold. He's added a lot to their stage presence. Anyone's ever seen like a Maiden DVD or video, he's one of the most entertaining drummers to watch. He works the camera better than any drummer I've ever seen.
He's also smiling the whole fucking time.
And his personality in interviews and everything, he is he seems like the kind of guy you'd want to have as a mate. And I think bringing that fun into this band, I think he's made a huge impact.
Yeah, I think so.
And everything about this album is just bloody fantastic. The Trooper was one of the first Maiden songs I ever fell in love with, and I'm not alone. It's a great song.
It's an amazing song.
I could waffle.
Still in their live set.
Exactly. And half this album is on and off, so that generally speaks volumes about an album. So, like, I could waffle on and on, but it's nothing that you probably don't already know. If you watch this show, I'm tipping you down with this album. This gets 10 out of 10 for me. This is Maiden's masterpiece for mine. It's got that a little bit of darkness I like, but it's still a hell of a lot of fun to listen to. Highlights, Trooper, Where Eagles There, Revelations, Flight of Icarus, Die With Your Boots On, Quest for Fire. So I think that's 80% of the album I've covered there. So yeah, I'm done.
Fair enough.
This is another one with a colourful backstory. Like the album before this one had it, but this one has like a little hidden message before Still Life and the unique take on a quote from the Book of Revelations. And I love how they have that sense of humour. And again, that probably comes down to Nicko coming into the band, but they've really embraced it on this record. And this album has always been a favourite of mine. Since I got a hold of this one, yes, all yes. More solid and natural growth. I love the way they keep progressing with each album, and this one makes better use of the dual guitar work. It's really tasteful on this one. And the overall use of space I found improved too. They just get better at writing. On average, the songs are getting a bit longer, but on this one, for me, Nick, they don't get tiring or boring.
No, nothing drags on this one.
Unless it's Two Tame Land.
No, including
shush.
You had your turn.
I love the lyrics on this one too. It's a huge step forward in that regard on this release. Fantastic storytelling, covering some really diverse topics, but it all fits really well. And I love how each album also grows on the production side. Nothing ever dramatically changed, but you can feel how Martin just keeps them in touch with the time. Nothing's allowed to make them fall behind or fade away, kind of thing. And the tones on this are fantastically captured and blended. I love how Bruce's vocals get to shine, but they never blow the rest of the band away. It's such a balanced mix. And you're starting to see more of an emphasis on vocal harmonies creeping on this release as well. The backing vocals, maybe that it is there, but the growth, it's all about growth and development, and they just keep getting better. I love the track order in this. The overall layout is really well thought out, and the placing of different tempos and song lengths is executed brilliantly. For me, there are no flat spots at all. It's remarkable. The last album was fantastic, but for me, this pips that by simply being more consistent across the board. They clicked well on the last, and we can tell the difference after going on tour with that and then getting into the studio the second time around. It's just the right mix of class, talent, and grit, while Nicky sort of pokes her head through the door there. Did tell you there'd be stragglers coming in. Now, talent, grit, class, it's all there, well put together, just the right amount of looseness in this as well, and not to mention the amazing hooks. This stays with you. They know how to close an album as well. These epics are glorious. Never gets old for me. I can listen to this one over and over again. Nick, 10 out of 10. The Trooper, Flight of Icarus, To Tame a Land, and Still Life. So we both picked the fucking ones you hate. So you can
Look, to be fair, I did give it 9.5 out of 10, but I just took it.
Did 2 points.
I did that to 2 points.
for two songs.
For 2 songs, they may be a bit harsh.
Okay, they kind of scored like Shinedown's latest album. Yeah, like, fuck me.
Anyway, we'll keep moving along. Check it out for yourselves and let us know what you think.
It's going to be one of those days.